my name's Liz, I'm the baker that sews. Welcome to my channel if you're new and welcome back if you are a subscriber. As always, it's really lovely to have you here as I share my sewing journey. So today's video is going to be a roundup of everything that I got sewed up in the month of January. I haven't done a roundup of all of my makes for a really long time, and the main reason is because I tend to talk about what I've been sewing in my Sunday sewing catch-ups. But I know that I don't always go into a huge amount of detail about the pattern or how I found sewing it up. So I am planning to start doing my roundup of everything I sewed in the month. I enjoy doing a roundup of seeing all the different things that I sewed, all the patterns that I've explored that month as well. It kind of acts as a little journal for me too. So I am going to start doing my roundups of what I've sewn up. So today is January's makes. I've got my notebooks in front of me, so sometimes I will look down. And where possible, I'll pop them on just so you can see what the garments look like on my body. And then I've got all of the pattern details. Some of the patterns I've got the line drawings so I can show you, and some of the patterns I haven't. And what I'm wearing today is one of the things that I got sewed up in the month of January. And it is the Anthea blouse made in this gorgeous gauze fabric that I got from New Craft House. I'll go into detail about the pattern a little bit later. I've got an order of the different things that I made that I'm going to talk about. And then I've got these gorgeous gold buttons that I got from Felicity Fabrics. And I really love the gold buttons because it draws out the metallic dots. There are gold dots, but there's also bronze dots too. So I really like the gold buttons because it draws out the dots that are all over this fabric. And then I've just got it on with a pair of Anna Pomona pants, just made in a brushed, I think it was like a brushed twill fabric that I got from Rainbow Fabrics. And with this pair, I did a little paper bag waist that goes all the way around and then patch pockets on the back. I will put a picture in of me wearing this whole outfit so you can see what it looks like, and I will talk in more detail about this pattern once I come onto it a little bit later on in the video. So let me grab my notebook. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about, I don't actually have it in front of me, but I have got the fabric that I turned into something for me in front of me, although I'm not going to talk about this, annoyingly, I'm not going to talk about this make yet because the blog post hasn't gone live. But I used this gorgeous cotton jersey fabric from Felicity Fabrics, and it was given to me because I'm part of their blogger team, so I was going to write a blog using this fabric. So I've turned it into some loungewear, so a cute pair of shorts and then an oversized t-shirt. And in my February makes I will go into more detail about this make. But it's this gorgeous cotton jersey fabric in like a blush pink, and it's got all these dashes all over it. So I turned it into the Lara loungewear by Swim Style Patterns. I'll put in some line drawings of what it looks like. And then I had some left over because when I looked at the fabric requirements, they recommended 2 meters. Let me hold up the t-shirt. It's quite an oversized t-shirt, so it's perfect for loungewear. And then I used one of my Kylie and the Machine labels, which says Eat, Sleep, Sew for the neckline. I was really pleased that I remembered to use a label in that make. So yeah, I'll go on to talk about that in more detail in my February makes roundup. But the reason I'm sharing that is because I had some of that fabric left over. And I looked at the pattern recommendations and they recommended 2 meters of fabric, but actually I only took, I think it was like 1.3 meters of fabric to sew up that loungewear. So I had quite a lot of fabric left over. So with the leftovers, I turned it into some baby clothes. We've got a friend that's just had a little girl. She's absolutely gorgeous. We got to meet her at Christmas. So I turned it into the strawberry sweatshirt pattern, which is a poppy and jazz pattern. I'll put an image in of what it looks like. And then I also turned it into some poppy and jazz tangerine trousers, which again is a sew over it pattern, which is the poppy and jazz patterns. Oh, and then I used the Patterns by Pirates teeny beanie pattern to sew up like a knot. It had like a tie knot on the top of it, little beanie hat to go with the set. And I've used those patterns before. They're tried and tested. They sew up really quickly and they're great when you've got like a ½ meter of fabric. So I had about 0.7 meters of fabric and I managed to get the jumper, the little trousers and the little hat out of that fabric, which was great. So I'll put a picture in of the little set that I sewed up, but let me talk about the pattern. I don't actually have them in front of me, so I'm just going to read off my phone if that's okay. So I'll start with the strawberry sweatshirt pattern by Poppy and Jazz. It starts at newborn and goes up to 6 years, and it's a really simple, easy to make, gorgeous cozy little sweatshirt, and I've made quite a few of them. In terms of sewing level, it's an absolute beginner sewing pattern, and I would say that. It's a little bit fiddly attaching the cuffs and the neckband because the cuffs are teeny tiny, but aside from that, it's quite a straightforward pattern to sew up. And then in terms of fabric suggestions, I recommend medium weight stable knits like a Ponte Roma, interlock and French terry. I've sewed it up in a cotton jersey fabric, and that works beautifully, and because it's a cotton jersey, it's lovely and soft as well. And then if we move on to the Tangerine Trousers, they start at 0 months and go up to 24 months. They're a pair of easy to wear everyday sort of leggings type trousers. There's also an option to sew in sort of a little foot covering, I don't know what they call it. So they can be worn open at the ankle, but they also come with the option to add feet, which means no more lost socks. I haven't ever sewn up, or did I? Maybe I did sew up one version with the sock bit for my nephew a couple of years ago, but my sister was saying it was a little bit annoying actually having the sock bit on, because when he grew they couldn't wear them anymore, whereas if you sew up the leggings which are open at the ankle, even if they grow a little bit and they are slightly cropped, they could still wear them. And that's what my sister did with my nephew, because then I sewed him a pair that were just open at the ankle, and it meant that he could get a bit more wear out of them. In terms of the Tangerine Trousers, they're again aimed at absolute beginners, a really straightforward pattern to sew up. And they recommend lightweight knit fabrics with a little bit of stretch, like a lightweight cotton jersey. I've sewed them up in a sweatshirting fabric too, and that works perfect. They're actually quite cozy with a sweatshirt fabric. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. So the next pattern I wanted to talk about is the pattern that I'm actually wearing. So it's the Anna Allen Anthea blouse. It's a pattern that I have fallen in love with over the last couple of months. So much so that I've probably sewn up about 8 versions. So it's a pattern that you can either sew up a blouse or you can sew up a dress. It's a dartless blouse and a dartless dress. It's got these absolutely gorgeous sleeves. This is what I absolutely love about this pattern. And they are finished with a cute little cuff. And then you finish the neckline with bias binding. It's got a fold over placket down the front, and the dress has got the fold over placket down the front as well. And then you've got these gorgeous, obviously my gorgeous buttons, but you finish it with buttons all the way down. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's got a slightly curved hem, which I think is a really beautiful feature as well. So if I stand up, this gauze does crease, you can see. I had ironed it, but it does crease. So it's got an ever so slightly curved hem on both sides. Which I really love. It's super duper roomy, so you can see at the front and at the back it's really roomy, and it's the sleeve detail that I absolutely love, and that's what I've fallen in love with this pattern. So like I said, it's by Anna Allen, and it's a dartless blouse and dress with puffed sleeves. There's 2 different lengths of sleeve. This is my preferred length. It just covers my elbow. And what I really love about the sleeve is it's not really tight against your arm. There's a bit of movement there, so it makes it super comfortable. It's button up front, fold over placket, bias faced neckline, and then the curved hem. It's a pattern that's aimed at intermediate sewists, but I would say if you've sewn a couple of things, so you're not quite right in the beginning of your sewing stage, so maybe you're a confident beginner, I'd say you could definitely tackle this. The fiddly part, so the neckline finished with bias binding, the placket is quite straightforward to sew. Buttonholes I guess can be a little bit fiddly, it depends on your machine, and then there's gathering into the sleeve and also with the cuff. But if you take your time and use quite a stable fabric, like a gauze would be perfect, or a cotton poplin would be perfect for your first version of this pattern, I would definitely say that a confident beginner would be able to tackle this pattern. It was quite straightforward. The pattern instructions really hold your hand as well, and I found it a really straightforward pattern to sew up. In terms of sizes, it comes in a 00 up to a 22. So for a 00, it's a bust measurement of 31 inches, a waist measurement of 24 inches, and a hip measurement of 34 inches. And then for a 22, it's a 48-inch bust measurement, 41-inch waist measurement, and 51-inch hip measurement. And then in terms of fabric recommendations, it's recommended for woven fabrics, like a cotton and linen, medium weight or lightweight fabrics, cotton voile, cotton lawn, silk would be lovely. I've sewn it in a satin, I've sewn it in a viscose jacquard. This is a gauze, it's not a double gauze, it's a single gauze. It's a really interesting fabric. and this fabric was from New Craft House. I don't think they've got any of this left, but I will check their website, and if they have, I'll link it down below for you. And then these gorgeous gold buttons were from Felicity Fabrics, and if they've got any left, I'll link them below. They've got a really cute little heart detail on them. Don't know if you can see that. Super cute heart detail, and I just love that it makes the gold really pop, and then you've got silver and bronze embroidered dots all over this fabric. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's a really lovely spring summer sort of lightweight blouse. I think you could probably sew this up in a heavier weight fabric, so like a medium weight fabric. I'm quite intrigued to see what this pattern would sew up like in like a what's it called, in like a flannel fabric or a brushed cotton. I've got some brushed cotton in my stash that I might try, because I think that would be quite warm for autumn winter, and then you could layer it up with a long sleeve top underneath as well. But I absolutely love this pattern. I cannot speak more highly of it. Like I said, I've sewn up quite a few versions of it now, and the next make that I want to talk about is actually the Anthea dress, so I'm just going to get changed and pop that on for you. Okay, I'm back wearing my next make. These aren't in any particular order of when I got them sewn up in January, but these are just all the things that I did sew up in that month. So it's still the same pattern that I'm talking about, the Anthea the Anna Allen, I always say it wrong, the Anna Allen Anthea blouse and dress pattern, but this time I've turned it into a dress. This amazing fabric was one of my Make 9 fabrics. So if you haven't seen already, I published a vlog where I talked about my Make 9 plans for 2022, and I've decided to use fabrics instead of patterns. So this is one of my Make 9 fabrics. I'm really pleased that I've got it sewn up. It's an absolutely gorgeous fabric. It's on a navy background, and then it's got the, I'm going to decide that they are cheetahs, I think. I still can't decide what type of animal they are. Some of them are upside down, they're meant to be upside down. And then they've got naked ladies all over them. I don't know if you can see there, there's naked ladies all over them. So I've done exactly the same pattern, but I've just chosen to sew it up as a dress pattern. Same finished neckline with bias binding. It's got the same fold over placket, more buttons because it's a dress, and I've gone for orange buttons to match the orange flowers on the pattern of the fabric. Same length sleeve, finished with a cuff, and again I really love that it's not really tight against your skin as a finish. So it's gathered into the shoulder here, and it's also gathered into the cuff. And then if I stand up, you'll be able to see the length of it. I haven't got tights on with it today because I was just getting changed for this video, but normally I would wear it with tights. And you can see there's my knees, so it stops just above the knees. It's got the same curved hemline, which I absolutely adore. And then with the dress, you get the option to sew up a belt. So there's my belt. I've just taken it off just so you can see, because it is super duper roomy. It works beautifully in a drapey fabric. And you can just see there's loads of ease in this pattern. I'll just fasten the belt up again so you can see what the belt looks like. And the belt's quite long, which I like. And then the belt just helps to bring it in here. And it creates this sort of gathering on the skirt then, on the front and the back. I love it as a dress just as much as I love it as a blouse. And I've actually sewn up 2 more versions of the dress. I'm really pleased that this fabric has been turned into a garment because I've had it in my stash for ages. I got this fabric from the rag shop. I'm not sure if they've got any left because I know when this fabric came in, it sold out really quickly. But if I can find it anywhere else, I'll link it in the description for you below. But I cannot rate this pattern highly enough. I absolutely love it. So that was the next thing that I got sewed up in January. I can't wear this to school because it's got naked ladies all over it, but I have worn it out to dinner with friends, and it made them smile because it's got the naked ladies all over it. So I'm going to get changed into the next 2 things that I wanted to talk about. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm back and I'm wearing the next 2 garments that I want to talk about. And I sewed these up because I just imagined them going really well together. So the first one is the Tilly and the Buttons Freya top, which I'll get the pattern in a second to talk about. And then the second pattern is the Helen's Closet Yanta Overalls, which I absolutely love. And I'll talk about them as 2 separate patterns in a second. The lovely Cut One pair, who is Jenny and Louise. So they're over on Instagram. I've just got their information in front of me because I don't want to say their Instagram handles incorrectly. But they're the founders of the Lilac Lovers Club, and they were having a party to celebrate a button collaboration that they were doing and some labels that they've released. And it was a Lilac Lovers Club party. So I had these two makes in mind to sew up, but I just didn't get around to sewing them up in time for the party. But I still got around to sewing them up eventually. I just didn't have enough time to join in with the party. So they are, they've got an Instagram page called Cut One Pair. They love Lilac, so they founded the Lilac Lovers Club. And then over on Instagram, they've also got their separate pages as well. So it's Louise Carmichael and then Jenny's Knitted Yogurt. I'll link them in the description below if you want to go and give them a follow, but I'm sure you already follow them over on Instagram. So I wanted to sew these up for that party, but I ran out of time. But I'd already had them cut out and I was really excited about sewing them up because I could just imagine them going really nicely together. So I'll start with the top, and it is from the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book, and it's a pattern that I've sewn up lots and lots before, and it's the Tilly and the Buttons Freya top. So I'll just get the pattern from in here so I can show you what it looks like. So it's this pattern, the Freya sweater and dress. So you can sew it up as a jumper, but you can also turn it into a dress, and I've sewn up both the jumper and the dress. So it says, cozy up in this close fitting sweater or A-line dress with contemporary mock neckline. And I really love this mock neckline. It makes it really snuggly and cozy. With a choice of 3 sleeve lengths, you can make it in a snuggly sweater knit or ponte for winter, or a lightweight jersey for spring. So this is a cotton jersey fabric that I got from Semi Sunshine. I love it. It's a mustard background and it's got all these different flowers all over it. They might still have some of this in stock, so if they have, I'll link it below for you. It's absolutely gorgeous. Just to say, with my Freya top, I'm yet to hem the sleeves. You can just see my overlocker thread. I still need to hem them. I've worn this jumper absolutely loads, and every time I wear it I think, oh gosh, I must hem it. But for whatever reason, I still haven't got around to hemming it. And it's the same for the bottom of the top. I still haven't hemmed it, so it's just got the overlocker thread. So I must make sure that I do that. It's from the stretch book. The Tilly and the Buttons size is 1 to 8. So for a size 1, it's a 30-inch bust, 24-inch waist and a 33-inch hip. And then for a size 8, it's a 44-inch bust, 38-inch waist and a 47-inch hip. In terms of fabric suggestions, they recommend light to medium weight sweater knits, rib knits, jersey or ponte boma with at least 25% crosswise stretch. And then these are the line drawings. So you can do the 3 different sleeve lengths. So this one just stops just below the elbow. This is the longer length on the dress and the longer length on the top. And then you can also stop sort of 3/4 length. Mine are full length sleeves, but I have done the 3/4 length sleeve as well, because what I tend to do, like I'm doing now, is I roll them up. I will put in images of me wearing this whole outfit so you can see what it looks like together. But that is the top. It's really lovely and cozy. It goes not only with my Yanta overalls, but it goes with loads of different outfits that I've already got as well. And it's a really lovely base layer for keeping me snuggly and warm. And then the next pattern that I sewed up was some lilac Yanta overalls. Now I'd been looking originally for some lilac chunky corduroy and I still haven't been able to find it. I found some lilac needle cord, but I really want some chunky cord in lilac, so I'm still looking for that fabric, but I haven't found it yet. But the Helen's Closet Yanta overalls are also a pattern that I absolutely love. They fit me really nicely. They're super comfortable. I love the fit of them. I love the shape of them. The construction is really lovely. It's a really, really enjoyable pattern to sew up. So let me get the line drawings. So here are the line drawings. You can either sew up full length overalls or you can sew up the shorts version, and I think this would be really cute for the summertime. So I have got plans to sew up the shorts version for the summertime, but at the moment I'm just loving sewing up this version, and I've sewn up quite a few pairs. How many pairs did I work out that I'd sewn up? I think I've probably sewn up about 4 or 5 pairs of the Yanta overalls, and that's how much I absolutely love them. So the Yanta overalls are a laid back artist style overall with a comfortable fit through the waist, hips and legs. They have all the classic features like a V-shaped back and a pointed chest pocket, which I've got here. You probably can't see it because I've used the same fabric. It's blended in quite well. The Yanta straps are secured using buttons. That's the only change that I've made to all of my Yanta overalls. I much prefer using dungaree buckles. I find that that helps when I want to adjust them depending on what I'm wearing underneath. So I always finish mine just with dungaree buckles. That as a finish to my Yanta overalls, that's the only change that I've made to them. Make your Yanta overalls cropped pants or summery shorts, and both views have front and back patch pockets. They're comfortable, modern, and they are really fun to sew up. In terms of fabric recommendations, they recommend medium to heavyweight wovens like a cotton twill, denim up to 10 ounces, linen, corduroy and canvas. And I've sewn them up in a canvas as well, and they're really comfortable to wear. Crisp, lightweight fabrics like a cotton and lightweight linen can also be used for warmer weather overalls. Use more drapey fabrics like a tencel twill, wool crepe or linen viscose slub if you want to experiment with a softer, less structured look. This denim has got a slight amount of stretch, not a huge amount, but it has got a little bit of stretch. They don't call for stretch denim, but it worked absolutely fine. I was just really careful with the sewing process and sort of the fitting as well. It makes them really, really comfortable. I think I got this denim from Sew Me Sunshine as well, so if they've got any left, I'll link it in the description below for you. In terms of sizes, they come in a size 0 and they go up to a 30. So for a size 0, it's a high bust measurement of 29 inches, full bust measurement of 31 inches, waist measurement of 24 inches and a hip measurement of 33 inches. And then for a 30, it is 54-inch high bust, 56-inch full bust, 48-inch waist and 58-inch hip measurement. I absolutely love them. I will put in some images of me wearing them, but they've got this gorgeous bib pocket here which is slightly pointed. There's loads of top stitching, I will say that, with the Yanta Overalls. I really enjoy top stitching, I find it quite therapeutic. And then you've got the straps, and the straps start at the back. You've got that pointy bit at the back as well. Then you've got patch pockets on the front, and then you've got patch pockets on the back as well. They do recommend that you finish the side with a zip, but they also recommend that you baste the Yanta Overalls when you're sewing them up first. Check the fit, because you might not need a zip. And I've found with all of mine, I don't need to put in the side zip. So I just thought I'd let you know about that. So it's slightly scooped at the side, both sides, and then if I stand up you'll be able to see what they look like in terms of length. I've got my slippers on. They stop just at your ankle and they're really, really comfortable to wear. I absolutely love them and I've worn them so many times. They're perfect for wearing to work as well, and they work really well with a Freya top underneath or any kind of jumper. Now, I've worn them with the South Bank sweater, which is a Nina Lee pattern. I've got in quite a chunky sweatshirting fabric, and they work really well for that as well. So another fantastic pattern that I've really enjoyed sewing up. So I'm going to get changed into, I'm trying to think what else to put on. I'm going to get back changed into my Pomona pants because I've got a couple of tops that I wanted to talk about. So I'll be back in a second. So I'm back changed, and the next pattern I wanted to talk about was a Friday Pattern Company pattern, and it's the Sagebrush top. Again, it's a firm favourite of mine. I've sewn it up quite a few times before. That seems to be a thread of my January makes. I'm sewing up using patterns that I'm really familiar with. And I've sewn up 2 versions of this pattern this month using this gorgeous Tana Lawn fabric, which is a Liberty fabric. And I got this from Abercorn Fabrics as part of my ambassador role with them. So they provided me with a gift voucher and I could spend it on whatever fabric and haberdashery items I wanted to in return for some photos and sharing over on Instagram. So that's what I've already done. And this pattern works really well for a cotton lawn. And then I also used one of my Make 9 fabrics. That seems to be a theme as well for me, sewing up some of my Make 9 fabrics, because I've got another fabric to share with you in a second. So I used this really fun rayon fabric. I can't remember where I got this from. That's got tigers all over it. And I sewed this up with my class in mind because the tigers really remind me of the story, The Tiger Who Came to Tea. So I have worn it to school and I've read the story whilst I was wearing this and told them the inspiration for this top. So I absolutely love the Sagebrush. I've sewn it up quite a few times before. For both versions, I've sewn them up exactly the same. So they've got this gorgeous ruffle. The neckline is finished with bias binding, which then you tie at the back into this gorgeous little bow, and then you get that little opening at the back as well. It's got a front yoke, which is sandwiched the ruffle into. And then there's also a back yoke. It's got these gorgeous voluminous sleeves, which again seems to be a theme of my sewing this month. And then they're finished with elastic on the bottom. I always shorten the hem on my Sagebrush tops, usually so that I can squeeze it out of a metre. But there's normally quite a deep hem, but I always tuck my Sagebrush tops in, although on this outfit I haven't, but this isn't an outfit. I don't think I would wear these two together. So I always shorten my Sagebrush pattern piece by at least an inch, if not an inch and a half. And I've done that for this version, and I've also done it for this version. So I will put pictures in of me wearing both of these tops so you can see what they look like on me. But this one is using a Tana Lawn from Liberty Fabrics, and I just think it's such a beautiful print. It's so pretty. And then this one, I just really love it because of the tiger print that's all over it. I think it's a really fun fabric. And this fabric I was really scared to cut into. I think because it was such a popular fabric when it came out that it sold out everywhere. And then because I think with fabrics where you know that you can't get any more, I'm always a little bit nervous about cutting into them, because if I make a mistake, I know that I can't rectify the mistake because I can't get hold of this fabric anymore. But I'm really pleased that I've turned it into a garment that's going to get lots and lots of wear in my wardrobe, especially to school. The children absolutely loved seeing all the tigers all over it. So this is the pattern. It's by Friday Pattern Company, and it's called the Sagebrush. I've seen so many hacks where people have turned it into a dress, but that's a hack that I haven't tried yet. But I do absolutely love the top. Let me find some more information for you. So here are the line drawings. As you can see, it's got this gorgeous ruffle on the front, and then I'm not sure if you'll be able to see. Oh no, you can see. Underneath the ruffle, it's gathered. You've got this gorgeous little bit of gathering, which creates this lovely feature underneath the ruffle as well. The neckline is finished with bias binding that goes all the way around to the back, and then you use that to tie the top, and then you've got this gorgeous little keyhole opening. You've got a yoke on the front that the ruffle is sandwiched into, and then you've got a yoke on the back as well. And then the sleeves are gorgeous puffy sleeves that are finished with elastic. It's an elegant and easy to sew blouse that is a joy to make and wear, and it really is an easy blouse to sew up. The fiddliest part for me really was the bias binding on the neckline, because you want to get a clean finish. It's designed for woven fabrics and looks great in breezy fabrics like cotton voile, as well as more structured fabrics like a crisp linen. The simple design of the top lends its well to customization, and it looks great tucked into something high-waisted. So I do tend to tuck it into, I've got a skirt, or sometimes I'll wear it with pinafore dresses as well. It's designed for woven fabrics, and some of the suggested fabrics are cotton voile, rayon challis, a linen that isn't too heavy, silk and cotton shirting. The simple style lines at the top mean that it will reflect the drape of your fabric. So if you choose a more rigid fabric, it will have more structure. Like you can see on this, the sleeves have got more structure, whereas the rayon fabric, I haven't got this top on, but you still get the idea that it's ever so slightly more drapey. You don't get quite as much of that poofiness from the sleeve. The cotton aspect of this is making that sleeve really stand up and make it quite poofy, which is quite fun. So yeah, if you choose a drapey fabric, it will just be a little bit more flowy. It's a versatile top, and it looks great in a range of fabrics. So in terms of sizes, it comes in an extra small and goes up to a 7X. The Sagebrush is a comfortable, relaxed fit, so it's loose without being baggy. So that's just something to consider when you're choosing your sizing. And do have a look, they've got a finished garment measurements table, which is always really helpful. So for an extra small, it's a 32 to 33 inch bust, 24 to 25 inch waist, and 34 to 35 inch hip measurement. And then for a 7X, it's a 59 to 60 inch bust, 52 to 53 inch waist, and 62 to 63 inch hip measurement. I absolutely love it. I love both of the versions. Like I said, the neckline is finished with bias binding. You've got the ruffle at the front, which is sandwiched, and then you get those gorgeous gathers. And then if I stand up, you'll be able to see the length on me. So my waist is here, and then you can see it might work actually with this top if it was tucked in because of that paper bag waist. These are high-waisted. I will put in some photos of me wearing this top and also my tiger top so you can see what it looks like. But I'm really pleased with both of these tops, and I think they're going to go with my Yantas and also my pinafore dresses that I've got, and I've got a couple of skirts that I think it will go with too. I'm also in the process of sewing up some jeans, so I think these tops will go really well with the jeans once I get them finished. So I'm going to get changed into another, actually what I will do is I'll pop on a cardigan that I sewed up. Okay, as you can see, the next make I wanted to talk about is a really snuggly, warm and cozy coatigan that I've sewn up, and it's a pattern by Sew Over It. It's a pattern called the Jessie Coatigan. So when I bought this pattern, it only came in sizes UK 8 to 20, but they have since expanded the size range. So I've got that information in front of me on my phone, so I'm going to talk about that in a second. I really love the Coatigan. It's a really cosy, snuggly sort of additional layer when the weather's a little bit chilly. I've used this, it's quite a lightweight, I think it was described as a wool, but it's quite a lightweight fabric that I got from Rainbow Fabrics. Love the colours, lilac, mint green, white, grey and a little bit of black. And actually it goes really nicely with my Sagebrush top underneath. It has got pockets. And then in terms of the length, I'll stand up so you can see, but my knees are here, so it stops just above. It really is just a really lovely layering piece, and it's really nice and snuggly dependent on the fabric that you sew it in. This fabric's quite a lightweight fabric, but it is still really snuggly. It's got a brushed texture, so it's been perfect for chucking on for when I'm going to work, because I spend a lot of my day in the garden with the children, so it's great to have just an extra layering piece underneath my coat to keep me nice and cozy and warm. If I show you, this is the front cover of the pattern. So you can see it stops above the knee, and it is designed to be an extra sort of layering piece. And then these are the line drawings. It's got this gorgeous sort of collar that comes all the way down, and then it's really interesting construction. So these are the line drawings, and it's got this really interesting collar detail, which is actually a facing piece that you attach. So the facing piece ends up tucked on the inside of the coatigan here, but it creates this collar detail all the way around the neckline. And then you've got, because it's two pieces that are stitched together, you have got that that seam, couldn't remember the word then, you have got that seam detail because it's two pieces stitched together. In terms of fabric recommendations, I recommend medium weight woven fabrics like a boiled wool, melton or twill crepe. Alternatively, you can use medium weight knit fabric with some drape. Knit fabrics with wool content work really well for this style. In terms of the Jessie Coatigan and the sewing level, it's a confident beginner sewing pattern. The Jessie Coatigan is a warm unlined jacket, perfect for that in-between season, seasons, autumn and spring weather. Depending on your fabric choice, Jessie can be worn as an outerwear or a cosy top layer for wearing around the house. It's an unlined swing shape jacket with a shawl collar, and it's got drop shoulders as well, and really deep pockets. The raw edges at the centre front are finished with a wide facing to keep the inside seams hidden, and then it creates this collar detail which you can see, and you'll see around the back as well. There are no closures, but it can be wrapped closed and secured with a belt if you prefer. I quite like it just open, but because there's quite a lot of room in it, I do tend to pull it closed underneath my coat. The hem of the coatigan hits mid-thigh, while the sleeves can be folded up to bracelet length thanks to a deep facing, or they can be left longer. So I prefer to have it longer, but there is a really deep facing, so you can turn them up if you want to, like that, and it gives a really lovely sort of look if you want to turn them up like that. I do tend to push them up sometimes if I'm wearing this inside and I'm working with the children. I don't want to end up covered in paint. So that's quite a nice way to turn it up with it still looking really lovely and not having any raw edges out, because the facing is actually really quite deep. I'll show you. That is the facing on the inside, so it is quite deep. It's quite a nice, neat way to finish the sleeve. In terms of sizes, it's sized between UK size 6 to 30, and it's split into two different blocks. So the size 6 to 20 is a B cup, and then sizes 18 to 30 is a D cup. So for a UK 6, it's a 31-inch bust measurement, 24-inch waist measurement, and 34-inch hip measurement. And then for a 30, it's a 57-inch bust measurement, 50-inch waist measurement, and 60-inch hip measurement. In terms of how much fabric you need, I only had 2 meters of this fabric, and I managed to sew it out of 2 meters. But if you have a look on their website, they do recommend between 2.7 meters and 3.2 meters of fabric. This was quite a wide fabric, so if you have got a wide fabric, you might be able to squeeze it out of 2 meters, because I definitely did with this fabric. But I'm really pleased with this make. It's a really lovely cozy make, and it's definitely got a lot of wear in my wardrobe already whilst it's still a little bit chilly, and I can see me wearing this through to the spring as well. Really straightforward construction. So over it I've got really detailed images and step-by-step instructions as well to really hold your hand. They always do sew-alongs with their patterns as well. I'm not sure if there is a sew-along for this pattern. I'd be surprised if there wasn't. Over on their YouTube channel, so that's always a place to go and check out if you need a little bit of extra support when you're sewing up one of their patterns. But I would definitely recommend the Jessie Coatigan, and I'm really pleased with it. Make sure I put in pictures so you can see what this looks like on as well. But a really lovely cozy make, and I can see myself making more of these as well. So I've got 2 more makes that I'd like to share with you. Both of them are dresses, so I'm going to pop the first dress on and I'll talk about that, and then I've got a final dress using one of my Make 9 fabrics, which I'm excited to share with you as well. So I'm back with my next make, and it is a make using a fabric which I'm not a massive fan of, but actually I'm growing to love the more I handle it and the more that I sew with it. And it's a double gauze fabric that I got from First for Fabrics. So over Christmas I was doing a bit of organising and reorganising and sorting out of my sewing space. I dug out my work in progress box, and I found this right at the bottom of my work in progress box. Hadn't even started it, but I had cut it out. And I think one of the reasons why I put it to one side was I think the weather changed, but also I had a bit of a disaster sewing with double gauze. I popped it to one side and wasn't really sure if I was going to get it out and sew it again. But I felt quite inspired over Christmas to tackle some of those work in progress projects and just sew it up and see how I felt once I'd finished making it. Because I thought, I've cut it out, I might as well have a go at sewing it up and see what the finished garment looks like. And actually, I absolutely love it. So this is a double gauze that I got from First for Fabrics, and it's in a lilac colourway. And the pattern that I've chosen to sew it up in is the Kokowara Crafts plum dress. So the pattern that I decided to turn it into, I'd already cut it out, I think over a year ago, is the Kokowara Crafts plum dress, which is a baby doll dress. You can do 2 different skirt lengths. You can do a shorter length, so that's a mini length, or you can do a midi length, I think it's described as. So it's described as a super wearable baby doll style dress with drop shoulders, inseam pockets and a relaxed fit. Comes with 2 different skirt lengths, mini or midi, as well as 3/4 length sleeves and cuffs or no sleeves, but a cute ruffle detail, which is what I've gone for. Perfect for the summer months, which is probably another reason why I packed it away, because I think the weather changed and it got quite chilly. In terms of sizes, it starts at a UK 6 and it goes up to a UK 36. So for a UK 6, it's a 31-inch bust measurement, 23-inch waist measurement and 31-inch hip measurement. And then for a UK 36, it's a 60-inch bust measurement, 54-inch waist measurement and 63-inch hip measurement. It is meant to be a really relaxed fit, so I would say that when you're choosing your sizing, you'll see on me when I stand up. The neckline is finished with bias binding. I've gone for the option that's just got the ruffle that finishes, but you can add bracelet length sleeves as well. I just preferred not to, and if I need an extra layer of warmth, then I'll just pop a jumper on underneath, like a polo t-shirt on underneath, or a long sleeve top on underneath rather. So it's got this gorgeous ruffle. I just think it's super duper cute. I've chosen to put a little patch on mine. Had this sequin patch in my stash for ages. It's in a lilac colourway. And then it's got this gathered skirt. It has got inseam pockets on both sides. The back is finished with a button placket, which you'll be able to see. And then if I stand up, you'll be able to see the length on me. So it stops just at my knee. It's really, really roomy. It's meant to be roomy, and it's meant to be a really relaxed fit as well. So these are the line drawings. So this is the mini length with the gathered skirt, and this is the midi length with the longer skirt, and it's gathered. You can see that you've got the ruffle on the drop shoulder, and then you've got this button placket on the back as well. I really like the shape of the neckline. This is a neckline that is really comfortable for me. Really enjoyable to sew up. I had absolutely no problem sewing it up. And then here are some better line drawings to show you as well. It's a really cute dress. I think it'll be perfect for the summer, but I have worn it in the winter and I've just layered it up. I put a long sleeve top on underneath, thick woolly tights, and I popped boots on, and it worked absolutely fine. And then with my coatigan, because this goes really well with this colourway of this double gauze, works really well as well. So those are the line drawings. The instructions really hold your hand every step of the way. You've got really detailed line drawings to help you with the instructions, and there's lots and lots of instructions in the book as well. I love Cocoa Crafts patterns. The instructions are always written really well and really guide you through the sewing process as well. I've seen some really gorgeous versions of this pattern, so I'm really pleased that I dug this out of my work in progress box and I've finally turned it into the Cocoa Crafts plum dress. And actually the double gauze wasn't that scary to work with. I've just had a disaster in the past where it really stretched out and it ended up just not looking great on me. I think that might have been a combination of the colourway of the fabric and also the fact that it was double gauze, because I absolutely love this dress and I've sewn up another version of the plum dress in February as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with this one. I think it's really cute style dress and it's super duper comfortable to wear as well. So I've got one more thing that I wanted to share with you, so I'm going to pop that on. And I know I said that the Anthea dress was my favourite with the naked ladies on, but I think this is a close contender and this could be joint favourite make. I love the fabric, I love the pattern that I've used as well, and it's just a really cosy, enjoyable dress to wear. So I'm back with my final make that I wanted to talk about. It's a very bright make. This is using another of my fabrics from my Make 9 fabrics, so I'm really pleased that I've managed to get this sewn up. I'll turn around in a second so you can see the back, because I'm really pleased with my pattern matching on the back. But it's a pattern that I've sewn up quite a few times before. You can sew it up as a blouse or you can sew it up as a dress. This amazing fabric was from Fabric Godmother, bought probably about a year ago. So I don't think they've got any of this left, but it's a twill fabric, absolutely gorgeous, really lovely and warm, so it's a perfect winter make. I love this fabric, I love the colours. It's got this gorgeous check detail which is like a turquoise green, and then it's mainly a pink background, but there's some darker aspects which are slightly purple in colour. I just think it's really fun. The reason I didn't sew this fabric for ages and it sat in my stash for a while was because I wasn't quite sure what to turn it into. I was debating about whether to turn it into a dress, a blazer or some trousers, but in the end I went for the Bakerloo dress and I'm really pleased that I did. So it's a pattern by Nina Lee and it's the Bakerloo blouse or dress. There's two different sleeve length options, and one of my favourite things apart from this gorgeous collar is the way that the sleeve is finished. It's finished with a facing and then you've got an elastic channel, so it creates this gorgeous gathering and I just think it's so pretty. And then the sleeve is quite voluminous as well, which is lovely. I've chosen to sew up the dress. I'll put pictures in of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like. But if I stand up, you'll be able to see it. It has got the option for pockets, but I didn't have enough of this fabric and actually I didn't want to distort it at all, so I chose not to put pockets. If I stand up, you can see the length. It stops just at my knee. It's got this beautiful collar at the front, and then it's got the collar at the back as well, and then it's finished with a button. And then I don't know if you can see that the bodice, the back bodice bit here is cut as two separate pieces, and I worked really hard to do some pattern matching. So I'm really pleased with my pattern matching on the back. I'll put a better picture in of the pattern matching, but I was really careful, slow sewing, lots and lots of clips to make sure that I could match that seam line on the back as well. So I'm really pleased with that. The Nina Lee Bakerloo blouse and dress comes in two different size bandings, so UK 6 to 20 or a 16 to 28. So for a UK 6, it's a bust measurement of 32 inches, a waist measurement of 24 inches and a hip measurement of 33.5 inches. And then for a 28, it's a 54-inch bust measurement, 47-inch waist and 57-inch hip measurement. Those are the line drawings. Got this gorgeous gathered skirt on the bodice if you sew up the dress. For the blouse, the bodice is longer than it is on the dress. And then they've both got this option to finish with this gorgeous gathering and the facing for the cuff, which is just beautiful. It says, make a statement with Bakerloo's extra extravagant ruffled collar. It's got this gorgeous ruffle detail on the collar as well. And the collar goes all the way around the back, which I absolutely love. And I love the way that it sits on the shoulder with that cute ruffle. I think it's really lovely. With both a blouse and dress option and suitable for a wide range of fabrics and potential customization, it's a pattern designed to be really fun. Closing with a button and keyhole at the centre back, the pattern skims the bust into a loose fit around the waist for ease and comfort. The balloon sleeves have got two different length options, are gathered into a cuff with ruffled edges. And the dress variation has a full gathered and pocketed, if you want to, skirt. So in terms of fabric recommendations, I recommend light to medium weight fabrics like a lawn, poplin, chambray, softer needle cord, taffeta, and any fabric with enough body to create the collar but not too much bulk to gather into a frill. This was a cotton twill, which was sort of medium weight, and it works really nicely. You still get that lovely gathering for the frill, and that collar is just beautiful. In terms of fit, it is quite loose around the waist and the hip area, so it's really, really comfortable. And then you've also got bust darts as well. I absolutely love this. I'm really pleased that this fabric has been turned into a wearable garment, and I've worn it quite a few times already. Not when I'm in class teaching, but I have worn it to school when I'm out of class. I worry that these sleeves would get covered in lots of paint and glue and things. But the theme of this month seems to have been tackling some of those fabrics that I've had in my stash for a while, and it makes me really happy to see that I've actually got some wearable garments now instead of them just sitting in my stash. This dress gives me so much joy when I wear it, as does quite a lot of the things that I've sewn up this month. Please do let me know in the comments which of the garments I sewed up in January is your favourite. Like I said, it's a debate for me between the Anthea dress with the naked ladies on and this Bakerloo dress. I love the colours of this dress. I just think it's a really fun, beautiful dress. I love the collar and I love the ruffle. And then the Anthea dress just really makes me smile because you don't notice the naked ladies until you get up close. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, it'd be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button because you'll get notified of when I bring out my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.